Hi, welcome to Moments with Inonge. In this month of July, I have been talking about responsibility, the first step of learning. You see, we tend to think about responsibility as something given by somebody who is in a position of authority, such as a parent or employer. And yes, that is often the case. But responsibility is also something we should be willing to take. You see, nothing happens to increase our potential actually, if we don't step up and say, I am responsible. So at this point, guys, I just want to thank everybody that is tuned in to Moments with Inonge, a platform that is dedicated to raising leaders. Thank you for joining this live broadcast. Please do share, please do like, and please do tag a friend. And feel free to drop your comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section. Let's get right into this video. So today I'm going to be sharing what happens when we don't take responsibility. So first and foremost, when we don't take responsibility, we develop a victim mentality. A victim mindset causes people to focus on what they cannot do instead of what they can do. It is a recipe for failed failure. So now the question you and I should be asking ourselves is, do I have a victim mentality? Do I have it? Do I not have it? One of the possessions of somebody that has a victim mentality is, the mentality of entitlement. Just because somebody shows up for work, they feel okay, they should get paid more. Just because somebody shows up for work, they feel okay, they should be promoted. Just because somebody shows up for class, they think they should get an A. But it doesn't work like that. I mean, there are certain things that you must do despite showing up for class that should be able to make you, get an A. You just don't show up for class, attend a class, and then bank your books and think you're going to have an A. So a victim mentality actually causes one to have a mentality of entitlement, and that is something that we should try to really, really guard ourselves by taking responsibility. Another thing that happens when we don't take responsibility is that we have an unrealistic perspective of how life works. You see, you and I believe we both love life to be simple, life to fair, life to be straightforward, but that's not the way life actually is. I mean, there are times that you and I we actually get more than we deserve, and there are times that we actually get less than we deserve. I mean, even the Bible actually says that God causes the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and He also causes it to rain on both the unjust and the just. So I mean, that's not fair, but we can't be asking why, because if we keep asking why, we'll be stuck and we won't be able to make proper progress. Another thing that happens when we don't take responsibility is that we constantly engage in blame storming. I mean, a man can fall many times, but he isn't a failure until he begins to blame somebody else. You're pointing fingers. You're the one that did it. You're the one that did it. Four fingers are pointing right back at you. We have to when we make excuses, or maybe when we blame others for what is going on around us, that means we're just finding a creative process for covering up, over our shortcomings. One story I like that actually portrays how bad blendstorming is by David. He actually featured in the original Pink Panther. Um, the scenario is like this. So David, excuse me, he's at a ball, a white tie ball, and he's standing at the foot of a grand staircase. So he starts a conversation with a man, and as they're conversating, two women show up at the top of that grand staircase and they begin to come down. So now David says to one of the men, he says to the other man actually, he says, "That must be the ugliest woman I have ever seen." And the man looks at him and sniffs and says, "That's my wife." So David looks looking for a lifeline. He actually says, "I mean the other one." So the man sniffs and says, "That's my daughter." And David goes like, "I didn't say that." So clearly, from that, you'll be able to see that, you know, blaming, blaming may be handy for a moment. Like in that moment, like, oh, okay, not that one, the other one. It may come in handy, but it doesn't work in the long run. I mean, an apology, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what came over me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I never meant to really say that. The fact that he's apologizing, he's taking responsibility. That is the way we should go, because if we don't learn and decide to take responsibility, I mean, we'll just keep on doing the same wrong things. Another thing that happens when we don't take responsibility is we give away the choice to control our lives. Your life, your choice. No one has a power over you unless you give it to them. You are in control of your life, and your choices decide your own fate. At this point in time, I will pose a few questions that I would love you to answer for yourself. Who is responsible for what happens in your life? Have you decided to take personal responsibility, or do you believe in personal responsibility? Or maybe, do you think that the things that are happening in your life are outside your control and there's little or nothing you can actually do about it? You see, there are two types of people. There are those that possess an internal locus of control. Those that possess an internal locus of control actually believe they're responsible for their gains and for their losses. And then we have those that possess an external locus of control. Those actually believe whatever is happening, is outside their control. It's the government, it's their economy, it's their spouse, it's their upbringing. Everything is outside them. Now, guys, between these two sets of people, who do you think is the most successful? Who do you think is the most content? Who do you think actually learns from their mistakes and improves based on these two types of people? Who do you think takes personal responsibility? I like what Henry actually said. He asserted that God asks no man whether he will accept life. That is not a choice. You must make it. Sorry, let me read that again. Henry asserts that God asks no man whether he will accept life. That is not a choice. You must take it. The only choice is how. That's the only choice. How will you approach your life? Will you simply allow life to happen to you, or you will seize the choices you make with enthusiasm and responsibility? So, as I conclude, last but not the least, we eliminate any possibilities of growth and success when we do not take responsibility. Richard says, argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they are yours. You see, real success is a journey, and we must always think about it with a long term mindset. Excuses are like an exit on a road to success. They lead to nowhere. They derail you from the main track that you must actually stay on. You see, it's very difficult for a person to move from excuses to success, but it's very easy for somebody to move from taking responsibility to success. So, as I conclude, I would love to say I might not like it, but I am responsible for who I am and where I am today. My present circumstances are a direct result of my past choices. My future will be the present of my current thoughts and actions. I am responsible, and so are you. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast. Thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for dropping your comments where you're located, and also dropping your contributions. Please, please, guys, do stay tuned as I will be sharing next what happens when we take responsibility. From me, Inonge, it's been a pleasant pleasure being with you.